Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. I know in my last video I kind of bitched about patriotism and the American flag being misused in my opinion. And it's kind of funny that now I'm going to talk a lot about the South, where that stuff can often happen. But I have a lot of good things to say about the South. How did I get here? Well, started off, I started watching the SEC championship game, Alabama versus the University of Georgia. And of course, Alabama wins because that's what Alabama always does. And I hate Alabama, not the state, but the university. It's just a football factory. It's like a bunch of pros playing other colleges that have some pro prospects. It's just insane. They are the New England Patriots of the college football world. Nick Saban, the coach, is not nearly as hateable as Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, but I am so tired of that football factory winning the national championship every other year. It's boring, and I think it's a lot of the reason people don't watch college football. I enjoy the sport. I don't care what level it's being played at. I don't mind. I'll watch anyone play. I'll watch little kids play, except then somebody finds out I'm not related to any of those little kids and they call the cops on me because they think I'm a pedophile, so I don't do that. But yeah, so I was watching that today. And then, as fate would have it, I started watching. I was just being lazy this afternoon, and so I started watching. I started just scrolling, and my TV is connected to Roku, so I get a bunch of channels for free, which is great. I don't even know how it works. I don't know. I get a bunch of digital channels. I forgot the name of the channel, but I did come upon a show that I did not know existed. It is called Redneck Island. And this sounds like something made up, but it's apparently a thing. And, honestly, I was really hoping for some Billy Bob Deliverance BS, but it didn't happen. It was basically the same as any of those other stupid reality shows, whether it's Survivor or Big Brother or Love Island or any of that other garbage. Except the people happen to have Southern accents. Shoot, they even had a gay like hairdresser guy with a Southern accent. I don't know exactly where he was from, but he was from the South somewhere, and it was pretty funny. But yeah, it was hosted by a guy I think named Adam or Andy. I didn't. He looked exactly like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I didn't even take the time to figure out who he was. I watched it for about 10 minutes. Watched him do the same stupid things they do on all the other stupid reality shows. But at least it was kind of actually refreshing that it just wasn't people being, you know, any more stupid than on any other reality show. And I also want to give the South props. I've been to Texas, Louisiana. I've been through the Gulf Coast, just the tips of Alabama and Mississippi where they touch the Gulf of Mexico, and I've been in the Panhandle of Florida. So I've seen a decent chunk of the Gulf Coast. Really like it down there. The beaches are beautiful. The people are nice. Texas and Florida, where I've actually spent a small amount of time. The people are very hospitable, and I only got to go through New Orleans when I was there, but yeah, I've seen those places a little bit. Kind of liked them. Just can't stand the University of Alabama. I don't like anyone that's too good for too long. Unless it's the Denver Broncos or the New York Islanders. It's the only time I like it. Tolerate it. And the reason I also want to talk about the South and it felt kind of serendipitous that I was watching those two things. I mean, the Redneck Island was especially serendipitous. I mean, I turned on I was just looking for football, and I forgot it was Championship Saturday. All the conferences were playing their championship game. So yeah, I was glad to get to see actually the SEC championship. It was a pretty decent game until Alabama kind of blew it open in the third quarter. But anyway, back to why it felt like this was a necessary thing to talk about and what it led to. Anyway, I'm just babbling once again. This is what I do. I'm writing a new book, and I've had it in my brain for a long time, just like the first book I wrote. And it's actually called Svengali. It's a play on words, and it's actually based on a guy named Sven, but I may change the name. But for now, it's Svengali. That somehow by the hands of fate, he ends up. He's a Swedish immigrant. His name's Sven, and he comes to New York, and then somehow he ends up down south. And I am centering the story in Enterprise, Alabama. That's an homage to you, Jennifer Montgomery. And I was going to put him probably in Alabama or Mississippi anyway. And he may travel throughout this book, but basically he's a guy that's so out of his element that comedy will ensue. And that's when I first thought of this premise. I thought maybe it could be a way to work on my screenplay writing or sitcom writing, and I'll probably just start, since I've written one novel. I think it's easier to write at least in novel form first, and just see if I can write funny. The first book I wrote, of course, was a cop drama, and there were elements of humor in there, but I really want to just see if I can write something that's almost completely funny at length. As you guys know, I've written tons of jokes, sometimes funny, sometimes not. And so I want to see if I can do it with the book. And that's my new project. My goal is to get it done by the end of next year. We'll just see. I'm going to take time. I'll take some time to work on it when I can, which is what life is. When you're trying to write things and you have about 50 things that are in front of that priority wise. So yeah, psyched about that. And then yeah, those I just happened to see some southern based stuff. And I may by the way, this character may end up tied in to the characters from the first book. Uh, as if any of you have read my book, you know that the person that gets killed, the special needs person, is of Swedish descent. Was actually born in Sweden, so not of Swedish descent. He's Swedish, but his parents moved him to the United States to help him with his autism, and his name is also Sven. So I don't know how I'm gonna work it. Maybe I'll just make this another character named Sven. Svens are a dime a dozen in Sweden, so there we go. But hopefully that bringing together of a guy from Northern Europe down to the southern United States will, there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of obviously grounds for humor there. Hopefully, I don't want to go too stereotypical with all the humor, though. Some of the humor I want to almost do the opposite, where like and I've seen this done before, probably on sketches and stuff, where you go into this. It looks like the set of Deliverance, and it's like, oh my God, these are the scariest inbred hillbillies ever. And then it ends up, no, they're perfectly intelligent guys. They just have a slight southern drawl. But, oh, yeah, he went to MIT and then he came back to do this. I want to try to do things like that where you break the stereotypes. But I also will probably go with some of the southern stereotypes as well, and some of the Scandinavian stereotypes as well, to see if I can make that come together in a humorous context. We'll see. But that's my latest project. I was going to say something else about it, and now I can't remember. One thing I do remember is when I first had this concept in my head, a show came out, and my mom told me about it. I can't remember the name of the show. Maybe you guys will. I should have researched it, but Amy Poehler was in it, I believe, and it's a show about I think she marries a Swedish guy or somebody. Somehow there's the Swedes and Americans are together as a family, and they're up in I believe Stockholm, or a suburb of Stockholm, where these Americans are out of their element and they're in Scandinavia. But this is going to be the opposite. And I thought of it, and I remember my mom and I having this discussion saying, yeah, there's a show like that, except the opposite. Shit. The good thing is it's the opposite. The other good thing is, I think this 10 years ago this show came out. So we'll just, like I said, I'm back in the lab writing. I'm really psyched about it. The other thing I want to talk about, I've got a minute left and I've kind of been babbling anyway. The next thing I want to work on is something Logan is doing as well. And I may do it for winter break towards the end of the year, and towards the end of this entire Average Guy Opinions thing. I'm looking to maybe just do movie reviews of really bad Christmas movies, like Hallmark type Christmas movies. I think it can be a lot of fun, and if I'm good enough, or if I can have maybe Logan help me with the editing and thread a few clips in between when I'm talking about the film, that could be a little more entertaining than what I'm doing now. I don't know if I'm going to be that good of a YouTuber. I know this is just, I appreciate you guys who watch me every day, or shit, once a week or once a month even. I know it's just a guy talking. And so I'm looking to maybe get better at that. And I do have to work on the editing aspect if I want to make this more of an entertainment thing like really good YouTubers do. So there you go. Doing a lot of stuff as always, keeps me busy, keeps me generally happy. And the South shall rise again. See you guys next time. Bye.